In terms of your constituents in Arizona, if the tariffs eventually do come fully in force and start to trickle down to businesses of different sizes, we're hearing about $3,000 or $6,000 iPhones, and you hear about all this big picture stuff. Can you talk about some of your constituents in Arizona in tangible terms, what these tariffs could mean for the prices that folks will ultimately be paying for products?
Yeah, they're going to be paying a lot more, and it's not, it's not trickling down over a period of time. It's happening already. I've got a friend that just told me that he has a container sitting in the port of Los Angeles that has $75,000 of product in it that he purchased from China. It has recently arrived. To get it out of customs, he has to pay $100,000 in tariffs. There's $75,000 of stuff in the container. He's immediately going to pass on as much of that cost as he possibly can to his customers. Probably can't do all of it, so there's going to be losses for his business in the short term. And by the way, if those tariffs get undone later, he doesn't get his money back. So we're seeing it already, and it's going to happen rather quickly. You talk about a $6,000 iPhone. I don't think somebody's going to buy a $6,000 iPhone.
Right.
So that will hurt jobs at Apple. Apple employs a lot of people here in the United States. So those folks will start to see their, some job loss from this. And what ultimately happens is more people get laid off. The economy starts to shrink. We go into a recession. Some economists are saying that's already happening. Like we're going to see a second quarter of, negative growth in the economy, which isn't good. When we have a recession, other bad things happen beyond just people losing their jobs. Death rates go up. There are huge negative impacts, and this is self-inflicted. This president inherited a rather decent economy. Inflation was coming down, unemployment was low, the stock market was at the highest levels we've seen. Those are good things. We also had problems. I will admit it. Housing prices are too high.
Yep.
Price of groceries are too high. He said he was going to address these things, and his policies have done exactly the opposite.
This is a pretty good explanation of the problem with tariffs and the problem with Trump's economic policies. Is what he's doing here is actually trickle down pain. So Trump supporters will defend what he's doing, and they'll say, oh, he's hurting the stock market, which is actually a good thing because the stock market is just Wall Street. He's hurting the rich in order to give us some long-term gains. And they'll say, oh, you're defending Wall Street and the uber wealthy if you're upset about the stock market collapsing as a result of Trump's tariff talks. Well, no, actually, it's trickle down pain. So the stock market might look bad. It might look like the wealthy are panicking, but it's really the poor and the middle class who are going to bear the brunt of it. They're going to be harmed the most. So tax cuts for the uber wealthy rarely, if ever, see any benefits for the middle class and the poor. That's trickle down nonsense. But the real thing that exists is trickle down pain from this tariff talk. So the stock market collapsing harms lower and middle class people. The stock market doing well barely helps poor and middle class people. That is exactly the problem. And I like Kelly's description here of it. I would have liked to hear him put it in those words. But I think that, yeah, he makes a great point. The economy was doing pretty darn well coming into 2025 and in January. And now we just threw this giant wild card into it where it's like, okay, we might not have been improving as steadily as we could have. But now there's no guarantee we'll be improving. And there's no guarantee we will not completely and utterly collapse, and there will not be a recession, and people will not die. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will speak to you in the next video.